The background one on the left looks kind of like you.
Yeah, okay, fine, I'll accept that. Hey, so I guess we're playing for this month's Potpourri. Vivian heard about this game called Learn to Code RPG, and as a novice coder yourself, you felt quite interested in this, right? Well, you know what? I'm gonna give this one to you. Why don't you give people the background here?
So
why are we playing this?
We are playing this because we weren't sure what to pick this month, and I happened to see this pop up on Twitter or somewhere from Free Code Camp, which was where I learned JavaScript originally some number of years ago. And they have a VN now. They have a VN.
Now I want to take umbrage with this real quick here. I'm not saying it's impossible to create an RPG within Ren'Py, but 95% of the time, you're going to get a visual novel out of that, right? Not one with RPG elements. So I don't believe them when they say it's a learn to code RPG. I don't think this is going to have any role-playing game elements in it.
We'll see.
I suppose we'll see.
Are you ready to learn some HTML?
Oh, I thought you were learning today. Should we explain why that's funny?
That's kind of what I do all day. Maybe a little. Maybe kinda, maybe sorta.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do this. I have to change settings though, don't I? Oh god. All right, well there's no voice setting, so that's fine then.
Okay.
Oh, there's a bonus.
Wow.
Oh, we get to unlock CGs, huh?
Holy shit.
Well, let's go ahead and do a new game.
So are you feeling excited?
Oh, that is us. Oh, we do kind of look like. I definitely am. I'm just a little bit nervous.
Don't sweat it. Everyone gets nervous during the interviews, even the pros. How about we start with your name?
What is your name? Type your name and hit enter. This name will be used throughout the game, and you cannot change it unless you start a new game. If I type in SK Relatable, it's going to call us SK Relatable the entire thing.
Yeah, it will.
There we go.
It's nice to meet you, Relatable. So I understand that you're here for our coding interview.
I am, yes.
Great. We'll start whenever you're ready.
Guess I have no other options. Let's start.
First question. Assuming P equals NP, how many raccoons is too many raccoons? Second question. In Python, what is a generator?
I don't know.
Third question. How do you think Sasquatch feels about APIs?
I could ask her later, but I don't know.
Thanks for taking the time to complete our coding interview. Before you go, please take some time to fill in your basic information so we can get to know you better. The fields marked with an asterisk are required. How did you hear about this opportunity?
How did we hear about this opportunity? We heard it through a, others, please specify.
Yeah. Well, we aren't sure how you came across this opportunity through the portal you specified, but we're glad you're here. Would you like to opt into our recruiting email list?
Sure. Okay.
Way to go. We'll notify you about all the events and opportunities. And that'll be all. Thanks so much for coming, Relatable.
No, thank you. I appreciate your time.
We'll call you if we decide we'd like to move you forward to the offer stage.
Thank you. Jeez, I'm really not sure how I did in that interview. To be fair, it wasn't that long ago that I was a total newbie, and look at where I am now. Feels like it was only yesterday that I decided to teach myself programming. About 3 months ago.
Oh.
3-month turnaround, huh? Prologue, Chapter 1. We're just getting started. We have a date system in this? Oh, wait, this is a Christmas game. Oh, wait, no, this is today's date.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was like, really?
I was like, holy shit, it's the day after Christmas. It's second almost Christmas.
And I'm like, wait, hold on. No, that's just today's date.
Okay.
Okay, we can pick up from here tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Relatable. I appreciate the help. By the way, I'm going to miss my tutoring session tomorrow, so don't wait up.
What? Mason, are you sure? Your science grades could really use some work. I don't think we should be missing any sessions.
Nah, you got it all wrong, Ms. Wallflower. I am taking science classes.
Relatable Wallflower is our name. Excellent. Excellent.
I'm learning how to code in my robotics club after school.
Robotics? Geez, that sounds harder than your advanced physics class.
I know, I was surprised too, but it's actually way easier and way more fun. I get to learn to program like my older brother. He's a software engineer. My teachers told me that if I take this elective, I'm off the hook for advanced physics.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, and I've been thinking, I really like this stuff. Maybe I'll do it when I grow up. Anyway, see you, Miss Wallflower.
Bye, Mason. Man, Mason is only 16 and already knows what he wants to do? I graduated from college 8 months ago and I still feel like I don't know where I'm going. Feels like everyone from my year is getting into their careers. This tutoring job is okay and definitely keeps me busy, but I don't make as much as I'd like. It's been a long day. I'm just gonna head home. Mom, Dad, I'm home.
Relatable. How's my little tulip?
Dad, aren't I a bit old for you to be calling me that? You never call me by my full name, Relatable.
Aw, you're never too old. I still call your mom Rosie, don't I, dear?
Why did you decide to name me Relatable without the extra E anyway?
I know, right? You sure do. I love it as much as I did when we first started going steady.
Geez, those two are as lovey-dovey as ever. Maybe I can change the subject. What have you two been up to today?
Oh, I was just over at the Andersons' house, chatting about Jerry. You remember Jerry?
Oh, I do. He stole my crayons when I was 4. We talked about crayon stealing, Jerry?
Sweetheart, you've got to get over that.
Not until I see some crayon recompense, I don't.
Well, Jerry just landed his first job out of college. You'll never guess what he does.
Steals crayons for a living?
He's a software engineer.
Really? Jerry Anderson.
He is. His parents say that he really likes the work. I've always wondered what those computer whizzes do. Something amazing, I'm sure. Anyway, ready for dinner?
Huh, another programmer. Strange. Seems like everyone's getting some kind of bug. Computer bug.
Relatable. I asked if you were hungry.
Oh, no thanks. I'm just gonna drink and pass out on the couch like I usually do.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Bottoms up. Oh, right. Sure, Mom. Thanks. God, already feeling attacked by the living at home, no job out of college. Yeah, okay, all right, come on now.
And opening with an impossible interview where nothing makes sense and the questions don't matter and there's no solid answer for whether you did right or wrong. It's too real off the hook. Too real off the bat. So, here's the best part about my day.
Haha, that's hilarious.
What plans do we have for the weekend?
I'm up for anything. Phew, I'm stuffed.
Can you pet the cat?
Oh, hey, Mint. How's my favorite kitty doing? Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit down in the dumps today. Beginning to think tutoring stuff isn't enough, Mint. Mom and Dad don't mind me living here at all, but I want to be able to help out at least a little. I'm barely making enough to cover stuff like my phone bill. Maybe I ought to look for another job in addition to my tutoring work. It's only a few times a week right now, so I'll sign up for a job hunting site and set up notifications. Whoa, is that a response already? Should I pick up? Let's check phone.
Sure.
Looks like I was right. The local cafe down the street is hiring right now. Looks like they'd like me to come in for an interview. Maybe I can work there? It's right down the road, so I just have to walk. Congratulations, you just made your first choice. Choices can affect gameplay and how stories progress. There aren't necessarily any right or wrong choices, just consequences or rewards. Phew, guess it's a good thing that I answered, huh? I could have missed that opportunity and stayed in a funk like I have been all day. Relatable is right. It may be a good idea to save your progress when you're about to make a choice. Start a new chapter, or just to be... I thought I was going to learn how to code!
We have to... We're still in the intro.
Okay. You can save by clicking the save button at the bottom right of the screen. Or just right-click like a pro. But just save progress now. Thanks for entertaining your friendly save reminder. Now back to the story. What, another notification? Oh, it's Jerry. Looks like he's posting a selfie from his new office. God damn, Jerry. He knows what he did. It looks pretty cool. And what a view. First Mason and now Jerry. Seems like everyone is learning how to program. I mean, 6 months of self-paced learning and then an almost 6-figure job? Mason is only 16 and he's learning. And Jerry Anderson is... well, Jerry. Then maybe it's something I can do too.
I like to believe in his office selfie that the stolen crayons are there on his desk still. He still has them to this day.
And it was one of those boxes that had the crayon sharpeners in the back. I will never forgive you, Gerald.
It had the discontinued colors and everything.
No comment on Jerry's full name. Oh, do you believe in me, Mint? Thanks, that's nice of you. Both Mom and Dad are super supportive, but Mint is probably the biggest reason I decided to move back home. Look at those little eyes, and her little toe beans. It's hard to tell her no most of the time, not that I want to. Alright, I think I've made a decision. I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn to program too. I'll start tomorrow morning. Welp, Mint, let's get to bed. Looks like I have an interview tomorrow. I've got to fund myself somehow while I learn, right? I can save progress up until now.
Sure, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Why not?
Turn off future reminders. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. Cool. Thanks for entertaining your friendly save reminder. Now let's get back to our story. Prologue Chapter 2, Piping Hot. There are multiple chapters in the prologue?
Apparently.
What kind of epic is this that we've signed ourselves up for? Yawn. Good morning, Mint.
I love Mint.
Mint's great. Mint's my favorite character. Today is the day that my programming journey begins. And if I've learned anything about RPGs, I need to start by going to a local festival and then running into a woman who's actually the princess. She'll drop her necklace, and then what happens after that will be determined by my actions and whether or not I help her out first or get the necklace first. It's complicated, all right? Now that I've found time to sleep on it, I'm getting pretty excited. Think I even have a bit more time before my interview. Starting with a bit of research won't hurt. Where shall we start? Maybe I should find some free online resources like everyone else is doing. Oh, here's a video about the top 10 tech skills worth learning this year. Let's check that out. I'll keep track of my progress on my phone. Click the stats button on the bottom right corner of the text box to see your progress.
Energy. CS knowledge.
Oh! Is this actually going to be like a social sim, VN?
Maybe.
Oh! Wow. Okay, did not expect them to go that way. Man, imagine being able to quantify your computer science knowledge on just a scale of 0 to 100. Perfect. No notes. There, you can keep track of what you've been learning, your energy, and other useful pieces of information. Alrighty, here goes nothing. Okay, so JavaScript and Java are different languages? Really? To be fair, that's always confused me. I don't understand that. Why if they're different, why are they named the same?
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
To capitalize on hype.
Java was hyped.
Me? JavaScript was a quick hacked together addition to the Netscape browser, if I remember correctly, that was just hacked together real quickly. Had nothing to do with Java actually, but to get people interested in using it, they wanted to give it a name that made it sound like it was, and to borrow some things like the names of certain keywords and so on, I think, as well. Just to like make it seem close enough that people be like, yeah, that Java thing, that's great. This JavaScript thing, that's great too. Let's do that.
Huh.
That's basically why.
Wow. So it's just stolen valor.
Stolen valor from applets.
Oh, one of them is for web dev and the other's for making phone apps. Which is which?
Which could it be?
Which is which?
We'll see. Is it going to ask us a question that we'll have to answer? Do you...
And there are print statements and print functions. One is for Python 2 and the other is for Python 3?
So, since it didn't ask us a question, have us answer it, I'd say that's pretty ambiguously worded. If you are building a front-end web application, it'll ultimately be JavaScript that it's written in. And if you're building an Android mobile app, it will probably be written in Java. Maybe something like Kotlin that it works on the Java virtual machine as well. But you can also do mobile apps in JavaScript nowadays with React Native. And yeah.
You have to understand how thoroughly frightening that mound of words you just...
Oh, absolutely.
That sounds like some kind of Lovecraftian incantation.
Oh, it is. It's all fake completely. None of these words are in the Bible.
And there are print statements and print functions. One is for Python 2 and one is for Python 3? How many Pythons are there exactly? I don't think I could beat one Python in a fight. They're so long. 2 snakes are already too many snakes.
Python 2, twin snakes.
I remember one video saying that Python 2 is outdated. Does that mean I don't have to learn it? Maybe I shouldn't even bother with learning Python 3. So this video says Python 2 is outdated. Does that mean I don't have to learn it? Maybe I should just skip Python 3 too. When do we get to Python 4? Someone may just decide that Python 3 is too old-fashioned before I even get a chance to learn it. Oh, we are just burning our energy here.
Yeah.
And by the looks of it, maybe I shouldn't learn Java for the same reason. It's really old, right? It says on this website that people nowadays are hyped out about something called Kotlin.
Hey, I called it that it would mention Kotlin.
Sounds like over-the-counter medication for when you get the sniffles. I like how we're barely getting any knowledge and our energy is just draining.
Yeah, I assume that's what it's meant to illustrate here.
Yeah.
That it's just like, oh,
How
here's
overwhelming it is.
undirected, frantic, overwhelming, initial trying to figure out what to do.
Right, because it's just like there's so much and like without any kind of foothold in it, it's just overwhelming and like contextless information.
Yep.
Wait, there's a JavaScript and a TypeScript. How many of these are there? Are they all cousins or something?
Basically.
Maybe I can find a job posting I like and start learning those required skills. But what is front end, back end, or full stack? What are the differences? When I tried to look any of them up, I found 2 more words I don't know. Then when I looked those up, there are even more pieces of vocabulary I don't recognize. What are DevOps and cybersecurity? And it says here this one company is using their own programming language that no one else is even using? Why would they do that? This is so frustrating. Maybe this coding thing isn't for me. Maybe it's too hard. What's wrong, Mint? Did I scare you? I'm sorry. Huh? Oh, I'm going to be late. I gotta hurry to that interview. Thanks for the heads up, Mint. Prologue, Chapter 3. Everyone could use a friend like Annika. Oh, the barista job. I do not have fond memories of the time I had to be a barista.
Yeah.
Thanks. Come again. Wow, it's only been a few days and I feel like I know how to make every coffee in existence. The free coffee is nice, but after smelling it for so many hours, it gets to be a bit much. Maybe I should go on my break?
Judging by the background, is this coffee shop in either Russia or Ukraine?
Because of the numeral 3?
Because of it looks like Cyrillic characters.
Oh, Cyrillic on yeah, maybe. Perfect timing. I wonder who this is.
Relatable.
Annika? Oh, it's been so long. How have you been, girlie? I haven't seen you since we were moving out after graduation. Mom and Dad miss having you over.
Please, they saw me enough while we were growing up. I bet your mom is glad I'm not tracking mud into your house like I used to do whenever I visited.
Hey, it was a team effort. You didn't make all those stains by yourself. Wait, didn't they say 4 days later and this still says Tuesday?
Yeah. Nah. Time is fake, actually.
Oh, hey, Annika, did you know that time is fake, actually?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it just feels like that. So what have you been up to? Has your job search been going well?
Things have been so well, like you have no idea how well.
Well, don't keep me in suspense. What's going on?
I just got a job offer.
Oh?
Yeah, and not just any job offer, a web development job offer.
Relatable's life really is the fucking nexus of being gently prodded into learning how to code, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not true to real life. I'm just saying it's suspicious how often it's happening. It's like someone around them decided to make a fucking op.
Yeah. A fucking Truman Show scenario.
Exactly.
Forgetting Relatable to pick up a small amount of HTML and CSS knowledge.
Web development? Seriously? What is up with everyone learning to program lately? I thought your degree was in graphic design.
It was, but then I was kind of messing around with user interface design for a website I was dreaming up. When I posted it online, a recruiter saw it. We got to talking, and after going through their screenings, they decided they wanted me for the position.
Whoa. What's user interface design, and what do they have you doing all day?
Oh, it's so cool. Basically, it involves...
You listen to Annika excitedly talk about her new position. You're incredibly happy for her, but still have a sinking feeling in your chest. Wow. That's great.
Hey, what's wrong?
Sorry, it just sounded like you started summoning Cthulhu in the middle of that.
You sound like you just dropped your ice cream on the floor.
Ice cream would be great right about now. I'm currently working at a coffee shop. It's all I've been smelling all day. I'm upset because, well, A few other people I know keep crossing paths with or getting into programming, but I spent a bit of time looking things up last night and nothing was sticking. Don't think I'm just cut out for it.
What? Relatable? No. You're legitimately one of the smartest people I know. The last I checked, I thought you landed a tutoring position. You have to be smart to do that.
I don't know, it's just hard to feel good about something when you're not excited about it. You just lit up while you were talking about your job. I definitely want something like that for myself.
Relatable.
Yeah, that's me.
Look, you'd be a great programmer, and if it's really what you want to do, I'll support you every step of the way.
Well, thanks. You do that for me?
Of course. You took the fall for me that time I knocked over your mom's nice vase.
No, I just managed to get it back together until something else broke it. It's fine. I had to. She would have banned you from the house for a week if I hadn't.
Everything is going to be just fine, Relatable. In fact, I've got something super cool to show you.
It's this cool RPG called Learn to Code RPG.
I'm not going to be freed up from work for about 3 days, but once I am, I've got something that'll help you with your programming goals. Do you trust me?
Well, it's hard not to with all that energy.
Good. I gotta go. My lunch break is almost over. But until we meet up in a few days, here's what you should do. There's this awesome website called developerquiz.org. It's got free practice programming questions. I think you should go there and do a few questions a day to get your feet wet.
Okay, but what will having my feet moist have to do with anything? I guess I'm coming from an outsider's perspective here, so I guess it's not my place to question things. I just would kind of like to know. It's getting colder out this time of year, and I feel like I'll freeze my toes off.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous.
But what if I don't know the answers?
Easy. Free Code Camp.
Free what?
Free Code Camp. It's this amazing website where you can learn to program completely free.
Wow, that is so cool. I should go to freecodecamp.org right now.
Yeah, it's what I used to get my job now. I took their responsive web design course, and within a few months of intense study, I was ready to start interviewing.
Everyone starts I feel like the part that people kind of elide when they're talking about this stuff is always the few months of intense study, a few months of self-directed study. Where it's like, yeah, you're kind of glossing over the part where there's a whole fucking Rocky montage's worth of studying that goes into this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Just a few months, huh?
Well, learning to program is less of a race and more of a marathon. You get what you put into it. Well, anyway, like I said, I gotta go. Try out the website, and if you hear any techie buzzwords, be sure to ask me about them when we meet up, okay?
All right, thanks, Annika.
Anytime, Wallflower.
All right, my shift is almost over.
I misread that as all right, my shit is almost over. And it was just like, yeah.
Entirely out of my shit right now.
That's so relatable. That's so relatable.
Talking with Annika has actually got me excited again, I think. She said to ask her to explain if I hear something I don't understand. But what did she say right before she got off her phone? Responsive web design? I know what web design is, but what does it mean when something is responsive? You just collected a buzzword! Buzzwords are words that were really popular in the IT scene. When you hear a buzzword, be sure to add it to your to-do list and ask Annika about it later. And think of it, maybe I'm in an ideal position. There's a lot of people here with computers every single day. Used to come to coffee shops to get work done in college. Maybe devs like doing that too?
Hey, did you hear our school's getting a computer club? What? No way. What do you do at a computer club? Play a lot of video games?
Wait, what do you mean high school? This is clearly the same high school boy we're tutoring. We know who that is.
Even better. We get to learn to code stuff and maybe even make our own video games. Cool. What's the club learning about now? We're learning about Python. Mr. Stevens runs the club, and he says that we should have a hackathon so we can all practice. Hackathon? What's that? Well, from what I understand...
Oops, I wasn't intentionally eavesdropping on those kids, but I think I remember reading about HTML and CSS. I just don't know exactly what they have to do with each other. I know, I'll make another to-do list item and ask Annika about it. All right, back to my shift.
All right, back to my shit.
All right, back to my
All right, back on my bullshit.
So, when I was younger, I thought it was the funniest thing when I was training people to be like, yep, and then when you're done here, you just make sure to clock out from your great big pile of shift. It was the funniest thing to me. Anyway, I'm getting old. Barista is my undercover identity for collecting buzzwords. Now that's an achievement unlocked. What? All right, we got so many achievements.
Holy shit.
Feel free to tweet about it later. All right. All right, it's about time to go home. It's been a long day at work. I wonder who that could be. Whoa! Annika, your phone teleported you into my room.
I know, right? Pretty cool.
That's impressive.
Hey, superstar, is now a good time to talk?
Sure, I just got off my shit. What's up? Miss me already?
You're acting like you don't want the link to the best programming resource that I know.
Okay, no more teasing. What is it called?
It's this website called freecodecamp.org. I know you said you wanted to study tonight, so I wanted to make sure you had the name of it.
Thanks, Annika, I will. You're the best. Let's add it to my to-do list. On the stats screen, you can toggle between showing your stats and showing your to-do list. How's our stats? Awesome.
75% energy? That's impressive. I have never in my life made it through a workday with 75% energy.
I think that's specifically willingness to learn how to code energy.
Okay, I have made it through every workday of my life with a, 80% energy then.
Let's check out this awesome resource that Annika was talking about. What was it called again?
What was it called again?
Freebie Goody.
Wow.
Cool Coders Camp. Free Code Camp. Freecodecamp.org. That sounds right. Let's check it out. Wow, their curriculum is super comprehensive. They also offer certifications that I can showcase on my resume. That's neat. I still have no idea what any of these mean, though. What should I start with? I've literally never done any coding before. Maybe this is...
One of these Annika mentioned.
She mentioned was it responsive web design?
That was something that she mentioned. We could try that.
With literally no coding knowledge. You want me to jump into this?
Let's look it and see what happens.
All right, Annika was talking about this one. Will I be able to follow along? Maybe let's look some more. JavaScript algorithms and data structures.
That seems useful.
I remember hearing about JavaScript, or wait, maybe that's Java. Algorithms and data structures kind of sounds like math. I can do math well enough, but it's not my favorite subject. What other curriculum options do I have? Front-end development libraries. Front-end development? That's interesting. If there's a front-end, there's got to be a back-end, right? Could there even be a middle part? Let's see what else there is. Data visualization. I know there's a lot of hype about big data, but can I really do that without a PhD? How big is big data anyway? Trucks are big. Maybe it's truckloads of data. Truckloads of data! I want to drive the data truck.
I've heard that the data goes through pipelines, so it must be a series of tubes.
Tube slide. Back-end development and APIs. I guess I found the back-end to my front-end. They definitely sound like they should go together. Maybe learning both is biting off more than I can chew? No idea what the work entails. Let's look for something simpler. Quality assurance, that sounds like it'll be on a digital conveyor belt, making sure all the cookie packs weigh more or less the same. Nice, warm, and chewy cookies. Oh, I love cookies. Hope Mom still keeps some in the kitchen cookie jar. Who still has a cookie jar in the year 2022?
For some godforsaken reason, not us.
Show yourself. If you have a cookie jar in the year 2022, I want to know who you are.
Kudos to you, by the way.
Yes, kudos to you, but what on earth are you doing with your life? I need to know. I'm fascinated with the answer to this question. Also, we don't have a cookie jar because most cookies have milk in them.
We could make different cookies.
And also, cookie jar just means they won't stay fresh and they'll just stale quickly.
Does oatmeal raisin have milk?
I mean...
It probably does.
Moving along. Hey, Mint, do you want a cookie as well? Let's grab a cookie from the kitchen. Enough cookie talk. Let's go back to studying. Do we want to grab a cookie from the kitchen? I feel like we need to grab a cookie.
Yeah, I gotta get that glucose up for optimum brain function. Hey, Tulip, taking a break from all the studying? Your dad and I are really glad that you're continuing to learn new things after college, but don't push yourself too hard, okay?
Thanks, Mom. I'm doing just fine. Deciding on what CS topic to learn so I can get a job in tech like Annika.
Oh, Annika has a job in computer science now. Good for her. I'm absolutely sure you can do it too. Just know that we are always here if you'd like to talk or vent or get a hug.
Oh, wow. You want me to vent? That's pretty sus, Mom. I will. Thanks, Mom.
Now, before you go to bed, I've made cookies. Why don't you take some back to your room to study?
Well, shit, that just sounds like the best idea ever now, doesn't it? Mom's cookies are the best. Yo, we got an achievement!
For eating a cookie. Game of the year.
Wait, I got distracted. Where was I? I was browsing course categories or something. Oh, I have this quality assurance tab open. Anyway, I don't think quality assurance is something I want to learn. Data analysis sounds kind of cool. But I'm not a fan of snakes. I know they're not supposed to be slimy, but they look that way. Machine learning with Python. Wow, that sounds cool. I'm really interested in teaching machines to learn. Just think about it, teaching machines to chat like humans. Maybe I could get one to make my doctor's appointments for me? No wonder everyone is so hyped about artificial intelligence these days. Oh, I've got opinions about that, but this is not the time nor the place, I'm sure. Looks hard. I know nothing about machine learning except that there are so many memes about how machine learning is nothing but math. Math, linear algebra, that kind of thing. Certain I could do it, but the question is, do I want to do it all day? Maybe we should start with something more basic? Done about as much research as I could on my own. I'm starting to hit a brick wall. I should probably get Annika involved. I'll add it to my to-do list. I did accomplish something today. Now at least I know what freecodecamp.org's curriculum is all about. That's one item off my to-do list. What? What's up? You got something you want to say?
No, I don't have anything in particular to say about freecodecamp.org.
What about you, Min? What do you think about freecodecamp.org? freecodecamp.org. You think that's a good idea too, Mint? Okay, let's get some rest. Tomorrow is another day. The next day. Oh God, it's another day. They just start coming and they don't stop coming. Oh, my alarm. Is it a new day already? What's on our to-do list today? All right, let's give Annika a call and ask about the CS curriculum. Good morning, Annika. Oh, God, I'm never used to your phone doing that.
Me neither. It's existentially horrifying. I'm not sure whether teleporting kills you and makes a copy.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Oh,
I learned that in my philosophy class called Philosophy 101. Teleportation kills you and makes a copy.
Morning, as energetic as ever, I see.
Well, thanks to you.
What's up?
So I've been checking out freecodecamp.org as you suggested. I think its curriculum looks solid. Thing is, I have no idea what to learn. Web dev, data science, machine learning. They look super complicated. I bet you put in a lot of hard work to finish each certification. Remind me, which one did you do again?
Oh, I did the web design one. What was it? Responsive web design? If I remembered anything from my college CS minor, it's those web markup languages.
Oh, I see. So Annika managed to pull through the curriculum because she had some experience from college. Plus, she has a real gift for design. I'm not like that. There's no way I could do this.
Whoa there, Wallflower. I know what you're thinking.
Really?
She went to college for something tangentially related. It must have been so easy for her.
How do you know that? That's... You know what? No, never mind. That's consistent with my personality. That's fine. You caught me. I hate it when she does that.
Look, checking out their curriculum is a huge step forward. You're getting your feet wet. You're deciding if you like this or not.
Are you sure I have to have my feet wet? It's so cold. It's December.
Trust me.
Here in Eastern Europe.
Trust me, I was just like you when I first started. I was clueless, so I reached out to freecodecamp.org's online community.
You reached out to where?
freecodecamp.org's online community.
I gotcha. I too will go to freecodecamp.org's online community.
Remember that resource, developerquiz.org, that I told you about? Have you gotten started on it yet? It's what my college recommended I do. I found those bite-sized quizzes fun and easier to digest. I love eating quizzes. Plus, I print them right out.
Oh, is that what I've been doing wrong this entire time?
Plus, these quizzes cover a lot of fundamental CS knowledge. You can think of it as an intro curriculum to CS for complete noobs. How does that sound?
Even with that, I'm not sure if I can make it through all the quizzes and CS concepts on my own. What if I run into something I can't understand? What if the quizzes get too hard like they always did in college and I lose my motivation?
That's totally okay. In fact, what I love about freecodecamp.org is that they have an entire community that can help you out and cheer you on. And I already told you, we're accountability buddies. You're not going at this all alone.
We'll not make that reference. Thanks, Annika. I know I can count on you.
Anytime. Well, I'm about to head out to work. Talk later.
Best of luck with work. Let me know how it goes. Oh god, she teleported again.
Oh fuck.
Did she die? Okay, now I've asked about the curriculum. That's one to-do item off the list. I can ask Annika about other topics any other day. Another day. Whoop. Now my new to-do list would be to ramp up my CS knowledge. Bump CS knowledge to 60 plus. Wow, I'm so glad I could quantify it like this.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan. Time to go work my barista shift. Prologue Chapter 4, Feeding the Study Bug.
There's bugs?
Oh no, not bugs. Mint, no, don't eat that one. I need that one. Mint. I'm finally home. Let's head over to https://developerquiz.org// and try out some quiz questions. Looks like they've even divided questions into subcategories like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Ah! Well, I guess I need to track my progress for each subcategory, huh? Your CS knowledge is calculated as the average of all subcategories, so make sure to study for each of the categories. For each session, I'll need to complete 4 multiple-choice questions from the chosen category. Let's give it a go! Should I study for a specific category or mix and match all categories? Let's choose a specific category.
All right.
So let's start with general CS concepts, because I feel like we don't know anything about anything yet.
Sure. Let's do that.
It's never a bad idea to go back to CS fundamentals. First question. What does IDE stand for? Internal Development Environment, Integrated Design Environment, Integrated Development Environment, International Development Experimentation. Okay, so it's probably not the last one. That one doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's not.
Internal is a word that would make sense, but might... Let's see.
You're right at ruling that one out.
Huh?
You're right at being like nah on that first one too.
Yeah. Because integrated felt more likely. That's the buzzword I've heard a lot. Integrated design environment. Okay, so both of these feel like they could be plausible, but just grasping at straws here, I feel like you don't have a design environment, but you do have a development environment.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely right.
An environment is what you use to is like the medium you create your code in, right?
It sure is.
Okay. So an integrated development environment probably means an environment for developing your coding that is integrated between something. Maybe front end and back end?
In this case, what it means by integrated is that it's more than just a mere text editor. And
oh, okay.
So I am actually
So it's integrating the actual writing of code with what?
With being able to do things like check it for errors, do things like compile and run your code. So for example, here's mine here. I use Visual Studio Code, and it has the ability to do things like, oh, I don't know what something does. I can hover over it and see what it expects me to feed into it. I can write documentation on things and then see it elsewhere.
You realize you're going to have to put a video of this so I can put it in the episode, right?
Yeah, I can do that. I can make that happen. But in any case, the fact that you're not just writing code raw in text, in Notepad or whatever, but so you instead have tools to help you.
It's kind of the difference between Notepad and using a word processor.
Absolutely, it is for programming what like a really nice word processor setup is for being an author in that sense, where it's like you've got a tool that helps you write the text in the ways that are helpful for you, gives you the things you need to be successful in a way that's a lot easier than just banging out raw ASCII text.
Well, all right, let's do integrated development environment. That's correct. Well, I've already learned 10% of all there is to know about general. That's impressive.
Shit.
Integrated development environment. Okay, cool. Learn more.
I think that'll open.
Oh, that'll
article.
probably be an external link.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Plus, you should play this game with a Vivian. Second question. What is an algorithm? Okay, so an algorithm, not a programming language, not a collection of fonts, a data type or set of steps to solve. Yeah, that's just a... Yeah, okay. The set of steps to solve a Okay, yeah. A set of steps to solve a problem in this case.
Sure is.
Which makes sense because that's pretty much almost the same definition we use in math, so...
Yeah.
Correct! Woo! Third question. Halfway through. The rules that determine the correct structure of the code in a computer program are known as the correct structure of the code.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so semantics, that seems like it's getting at it, but might not be sufficiently techy enough. An interpreter doesn't, that feels like something that takes your code and shows it to you in a different way, not something about the structure. A compiler is the thing that you use to take your code and then actually take your code and change it into a form that the computer can understand directly, right?
Yeah.
And then syntax is probably the answer here.
Yeah. And think about the difference between syntax and semantics when it comes to, say, English, where semantics is about the meanings of words and so on, and syntax is about the structure, which words are valid to use where you should put nouns and verbs and prepositions. Okay. Similar thing with programming languages. They've got both syntax and semantics, and you can kind of look at them both separately.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Maybe I should be... I don't know shit about coding. I've learned just enough to make, like, Twine do what I want to, and that's about it.
Which, legit, is cool. I've never done Twine.
Yeah, but it's not... Like, I have a book. I learned from the book. I read the book when I need to learn how to do it.
That's valid. I learn half the shit I do from Google, or from one of my stack of random books.
All right, true. That's correct. The rules of... All right, cool. Let's move on. Last question. What does JSON stand for? Okay. I'm going to assume it's the one that has JavaScript object notation in it and not JupyterScript, JavaScript, or JargonScript.
Yeah, because all the others are nonsense. Yep.
Jabberwocky script. Okay, so that's... Okay, all right. Correct. Jason.
And that actually is how people say it. They call it Jason.
Nice. Instead of JSON.
And in case you're wondering what it is...
I am.
As it says, it's a text-based format to store and exchange data. And you basically just... it's the same as the structure used in JavaScript to define a JavaScript object, where you can give it different keys with a particular name, usually a string, and then values that might be, a string or a number or a list of things or another object. And then when you want to get the stuff back out of it, you can do so by passing in that string that is the key. So you might use this, for example, if you wanted to make some structured data and say something like, I'm building a spreadsheet program. I need to represent a list of users. And a user has a first name, they have a last name, they have an email address, they have a job title. I need all of these things to exist for each user. Well, you could have it stored in a JSON object, where each one would be a blob of JSON that would have a key called first name, and the value would be the string that is their first name.
So the JSON itself is the structure of that data.
Yeah, it's
not the data itself, it's the way that data is organized.
Well, it contains the data itself as well. It's used commonly for things like if you are fetching data from somewhere, for example, if you are fetching data, you want to go get data from some backend that you have built. Okay. You have a front end that wants to display the data. You need some way to pass it back and forth. How are you going to do that? One easy way to do it is use this format and just say, every user will have this particular structure in JavaScript object notation. And then the actual data will be contained in that response from the API that has that structure. So here's what it looks like, for example, where you'll just have a blob of curly brace stuff there.
Okay.
And then in this example, there's a key glossary that, I want to get the glossary. I can pass in the key glossary to go get that. And then each glossary entry has a title. I can pass in the word title to get that, and so on and so forth. It's basically just a way of structuring data.
Okay.
So that different programs, different people can use that data, pass it around, understand it.
Okay, so it's kind of like a way of like unifying or organized, or like a way of unifying the way that data is structured so that multiple things can call it.
Yeah, basically just a language to define the structure of data.
Okay. All right. Sure. We can go with that. Gotcha. Let's move on. All done. Woo! Gotta unlock them all. Congratulations on starting your coding journey. The path will be long, but worth it in the end. Whether you're learning to program or to land a new job, transition to a new career path, or build your dream app, or just for fun, the Free Code Camp RPG and the Free Code Camp community are here to help.
Nested parentheses.
To use this game most effectively, we suggest studying alongside playing. By answering quiz questions each day with Relatable, you have the opportunity both to learn and learn where you need improvement. Okay. Get a question wrong and don't understand a concept, don't be discouraged. Just click the Learn More button if you get a question wrong. We recommend clicking it when you get something right too. It never hurts to review. Get stuck or feel discouraged, feel free to reach out to your Free Code Camp community on our forum. Remember, your journey with Relatable, as well as your own personal programming journey, have just begun. Carpe that DM. Happy coding. Whew. All right, so it looks like to get the most out of this game, you actually want like to not just like do the quiz questions and just move on with that, but actually like you have to do the actual learning alongside it, right? It's more of a structure to help you get your toes into it. Get your toes wet, as it. Why do we keep talking about getting Relatable?
I know, right?
It's so weird.
I know, right?
That's so weird. I mean, it's objectively the phrase to use for that kind of thing. It's just weird. I'm finally done with these questions. What a day. I'm tired and I may not be a developer yet, but I'm feeling more fired up than ever about making a positive change. Maybe it's best for my productivity if I take an entire day off to study? Let's give that a try tomorrow. You trying to say good job to me? Oh, thanks, Mint. Good night, Mint. All right. My programming journey has just begun. Yeah!
I hope there are boss battles. Also, I hope that was our cat giving us a call.
Oh, Mint, when did you get a phone and learn how to use it? Oh, good morning to you too, Mint. All right, let's grab a quick breakfast and jump into studying. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Dad.
Morning, Pumpkin. Morning, honey. Did you sleep well?
Yep, I'm recharged for a new day.
Good. Working yourself too hard without rest is how you get diminishing returns. Why don't you join us for breakfast? Tell us a bit about what you've been learning.
Yum, 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 yum. Okay, breakfast is done. Let's get to work. Hopefully I can get more questions correct today. Let's continue doing general CS stuff.
Sure.
Never a bad idea to go back to CS fundamentals. First question. What is an infinite loop? A loop that will continue endlessly unless an external intervention stops its execution. A loop that completes only 2 iterations. A loop that cannot be stopped even with external intervention. A loop that never runs. Okay. So... Ooh, this is interesting because I don't know what the distinction is here. A loop that will continue endlessly unless an external intervention stops its execution. A loop that cannot be stopped even with external intervention. Okay. What do they mean by external intervention? So unless something calls it. Loop that'll continue. So that sounds less like an infinite loop and more like a holding pattern that's intentionally designed, right? Like a program that's just looping a thing, waiting for you to give it the signal to move on to something else. Rather than an infinite loop sounds like one that cannot be stopped even with external intervention instead.
Well,
because this sounds like something that you might actually use in a program that you want, like this might actually use in design. This sounds like something you don't want.
So you're right to recognize that the first might be used for something like that. In fact, frequently it is. But think about what sort of loop could there be that couldn't be stopped by external intervention? Like, ultimately, I could, in the very worst case scenario, I could pull the plug on the computer. I could hit it with a bat.
Yep.
So,
okay, fair enough. I hadn't considered that pulling the plug is just an option in this case.
And when you think about it, all of the things that you do on the computer ultimately boil down to some sort of physical thing going on in it. Lots of them, most of them are less extreme. What?
Right, tricking Santa.
Yeah, exactly. Most of them are less extreme than yanking the power cord or hitting it with a bat, but ultimately, like, there's some way to stop just about anything. Usually, it doesn't have to go that far, but
unless it's gray goo. Minch, is there gray goo? All right, warding heated. Correct. An infinite loop, a loop that will continue endlessly unless external intervention stops its execution. A loop is a loop whose condition is always true, so it'll continue running endlessly unless there's an external intervention to stop it. All right. Excuse me. Second question.
We just got this one.
We just got this one.
We just got this one.
So it was integrated development environment.
Sure was.
Okay. Well, you can't increase our knowledge for that one. That's cheating. Third question, halfway through. A value passed to a function or method when calling the function is known as... A value passed to a function or method when calling the function is known... Okay, hold on. Let me parse that. So we got a function.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Just like I'm thinking about it like a mathematical function, right? It's something that takes some kind of input and gives you an output. That's what a function is.
Mm-hmm.
And a value passed into the function when calling that function. All right, so the thing that the input. So it's not the return value. That sounds like something that you'd get out of it. It's not a class. That sounds like something maybe not unrelated, but it doesn't sound like what we're looking for.
Yep.
Argument could be, but that seems a little vague. I think parameter is the most likely out of these because you're giving it like the parameters for what you want it. Like if I had to guess out all these parameters, what I would go with.
Okay. If I told you that both parameter and argument describe something about a function.
Yep.
What might you think one of them might describe and the other might describe?
A parameter might describe the structure of what it's looking for. And an argument might describe the actual input.
That's a good thought.
Okay. So probably argument then.
Let's try that.
Correct.
It's exactly that, where, say, you might write some function, say f of x is x times 2.
Sure.
And x is the parameter in that definition of the function. But what about when I say f of 5? What's 5? Well, 5 is the argument. I am passing it in the place of the parameter x.
So the argument is the specific, the parameter is the general.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or I think perhaps the way you originally described it with, like, one of them describes the structure of the function, and the other one describes the actual concrete thing you're doing.
So the argument is what we're bringing in each specific instance. We call it the parameter is what it's expecting in general.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep. Gotcha. Let's move on. Last question. What is pair programming? One person coding on two computers at the same time. 8 hands on one.
You have laughed at watching me do this. You have laughed at watching me do this.
You have done this.
That is not pair programming, though. That is just
so.
Me having too many ThinkPads.
Programming on a non-Apple computer, also known as pair programming. Oh, that's cute. 2 people coding together on one computer. That sounds... Why would you... If you're going to have 2 people coding together in any scenario, they wouldn't be on the same computer. They'd be on 2 different computers in the same shared environment. If you ever wanted to do that for some reason. Programming where you use each data structure twice. Okay, wait, never mind. None of these make sense to me. Okay, let me go back then. Okay, 1 person coding on 2 computers. That is not it. That's not. Okay, it's not the second one. Because that seems like a joke answer.
Yep.
Programming where you use each data structure twice. That seems very arbitrary.
Sure is.
So I don't think it's that. So we're down to 2 people coding together on one computer, or possibly 1 person coding on 2. It's got to be 2 people coding on one computer together then.
Yeah.
Well, So what is it that I'm misunderstanding about that then? Because I'm thinking of 2 people on the same computer with sharing a keyboard, and that sounds dumb.
So typically, you'll have 1 person drive and do the actual keyboard interaction and so on. But
okay.
2 brains to kind of put your heads together and think about the problem and debate approaches and so on.
Why does that need... Why does that need a special word for that?
The reason is it's a practice many people find helpful or enjoyable or
Okay.
to try.
Okay.
Because often, if you're just sitting away, hacking away at some problem on your own, nobody to help you, you can just kind of get stuck on things, right?
Okay.
And when you have another person there with you, they might be working on a similar related thing all on their own, and they might get stuck on something, but you get stuck on different things. When you've got two people working together, you can see more different options from the space of possibilities you could take to solve a problem.
Right, covering each other's blind spots.
Yeah, you can bounce potential answers off of each other. You can give a sort of live critique of each other's code as you write it to see like, oh, I think that could be a security risk, what you're doing there. We should tighten that up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool technique. That's really efficient.
I don't need to be sold on the benefits of having a second pair of eyes on something. I was just very amused at the idea of two people sitting at one computer trying to type on the same.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got caught up with that. Okay, so. Correct. When pair programming, one developer is the driver with their hands on the keyboard, the other is the navigator, helping talk through the problem and decide what to do. They periodically switch roles. This is an efficient and commonly used agile software development methodology. Oh my god. Agile software. You know what?
Buzzwords.
It sounds like buzzwords.
It's buzzwords.
All done. All right, that's about it for the morning. I feel like I'm much more productive if I can focus on one thing for an entire day. It's alternate between working whole day shifts and spending whole days studying. You can call Annika. I'm so glad that you can have the option to do that at your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Realistic right there.
I, on the other hand, had the option of working whole day shifts and then studying.
Love it. I can call Annika this afternoon when she's done with her work. It'll be good to chat and ask her about things.
Fond memories of working a close, coming back to do my online classes in software stuff, and then doing an open the next morning.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Hey, Annika, is now good to... Oh my god, you're here again.
Hey, Relatable. Now's perfect. I just got back from work.
I'm so glad I didn't summon you in the middle of your shift.
I know, right? How did your first day of studying go?
I felt pretty productive today. It's nice how the quiz questions give you instant feedback. What about your day? How was work?
It went well. I'm learning to use the custom web dev framework that my company uses. It's pretty different from what I've been using in my own projects and a little confusing at times, but my colleagues say it gets better with practice.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and I've heard good things about this framework, mostly from people I ran into at the local hackerspace. It looks like a popular tool for people who want to test out project ideas at hackathons.
Hackathons! That reminds me, I should probably ask Annika about this topic. And she just also mentioned something called a hackerspace. That is something worth asking about as well.
Hackerspace is that thing in cyberpunk movies where they go into and they jack in.
Oh, so you mean I get to get jacked in?
Absolutely. Hello, Earth to Relatable?
No worries, I'm here. Just wondering about something.
What is it?
What topic to ask Annika about? What's a hackathon? What is a hackathon?
It's an event where people come together to design and implement cool tech projects. Hackathons aren't usually too long. Most last for 1 or 2 days. Now imagine people hacking away at their laptops overnight. You get the idea.
It's just, it's just a thing where a bunch of people get together and decide on a bunch of silly stuff they want to try to do and then try to make a project come to completion within 2 days.
Yeah, like with a real short time, let's just brainstorm some sick ideas and then hack on them and try and make them happen.
Yeah, that's a common enough thing in other disciplines as well. That's not too hard.
Guess what I'm supposed to be doing next week?
Oh, really?
It's that. Guess whether I have any ideas and the project I was supposed to be part of fell through.
Do you want some ideas? I'll give you tons of cool ideas for what you can do.
Okay.
Someone who has no idea what kind of things one is expected to do.
I know, right? People usually form small teams to collaborate. It's especially cool when the team consists of people with different expertise. Not just software engineers, but graphic designers and product managers as well. It's a great way to brainstorm, prototype, and test out ideas that might one day evolve into full-fledged products.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, I only been to 1 or 2 of them, but my company has these seasonal innovation events that I'll be checking out soon. You should go to some hackathons as well. You'll learn to collaborate with other developers and even designers. Plus, hackathon projects look great on your resume.
Do they?
If you do something cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
None of mine do, because mine are nonsense and weird. But
Is it just me, or is there like a different there's a very different culture among tech sector jobs that seems to very much encourage and nurture the learning of their employees.
Yeah, because that's the only way you don't fucking fall flat on your face as a company and fail. You got to make sure that you have people who know their shit and are capable of keeping up to date as what the shit is, changes that needs to be their shit that they know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it also makes it a weird place where it's weirdly non-credentialed at times compared to other sectors of professional work where fuckos like me with a philosophy degree can get in, but not necessarily easily, but you can if you can do this kind of self-directed learning and so on. It's a weird place.
Yeah. All right. Cool, but how do I find hackathon events?
Just search online. You might be surprised by the number of hackathons happening locally near you. Except because of COVID, none of them are happening now.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll check that out when I get better at coding and also COVID is done. So that's what a hackathon is about. Yes. Checked it off my to-do. What is this hackerspace thing you were talking about?
It's just a casual meetup place for people interested in tech. I highly recommend checking it out if you have time. Don't worry, I know what you must be thinking. A hackerspace isn't for the cybercriminal type of hackers. It's a chill space for people to gather, work, and build cool projects. You know what? At the hackerspace, you might actually find someone like you who's also learning to code. You can totally become study buddies.
That sounds nice. Maybe I'll go there sometime.
Yay, we should go together.
That's everything I need to know. Thanks so much for answering my questions.
Anytime. You'll become a pro with these tech culture terms in no time. Well, I guess you must be tired after a day's studying. Enjoy a relaxing evening.
Thanks, Annika. You too as well. Have a good night and have a great day at work tomorrow. It's a lot of knowledge to unpack.
Dinner's ready, Relatable.
Wow, Dad is cooking tonight? He cooks maybe once or twice a month, but when he cooks, it's usually really good. Coming! Nom 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 nom.
Hey, honey, how do you like working as a barista? You don't have to go if it distracts too much from your studies, you know. Your mom's right. We're here to support you if you ever need us.
Thanks, folks, but no worries. I can use an occasional break from studying. Plus, a lot of tech people visit the cafe and they talk about loads of cool stuff. I heard about people talking about a type of event called a hackathon the other day, and I had a chance to ask Annika about it today.
That's great to hear, Pumpkin. What's Annika been up to? You two were really close in college, weren't you?
You won't believe it. She didn't major in CS, but now she has this cool tech job. And she taught herself everything. I'm gonna work hard just like she did.
That's the spirit.
What a day. My brain is entirely... My brain...
Mine too.
Never mind, going back to bed.
Mine too.
What a day. My brain certainly enjoyed a great workout today. Could barely keep my eyes open. Let's call it a day. Good night, Mint. The next day.
I like the pattern on the sheets. It looks kind of Greek.
Me too. It's very nice. Yawn. I feel like hitting snooze on my alarm. Oh, Mint, you're my alarm. I don't want to hit your snooze button. Are you hungry? Okay, I'm getting up and getting you breakfast. Oh, Mint, thank you for waking me up. Let's get on with the day, all right? What should we do for today? We do. It is going to be a fucking life sim. Okay, you know what? I take it back. I take back everything I said about this not being an RPG. Life sim visual novels are absolutely RPGs. So.
All right. What are we gonna do?
I get why it's done this way for the sake of a game, but working as a barista, like I don't have a set schedule and also have to be available on days where I'm not in at work because I get called in whenever, right? Yeah. Come on. Well, what are our stats currently? Okay. Well, as long we're not going to go much longer than another hour, half hour to an hour or so. So let's just I vote we just keep studying.
Yeah, let's keep learning.
Oh, I gotta close my stats menu. There we go. Let's hit the books. Do we want to continue studying general?
We could max it out.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Oh, okay. Never a bad idea to get back to fundamentals. First question. The set of instructions that specifies a computation is known as... Okay, so the set of instructions.
Mm-hmm.
The syntax is how it should be, structured, how it should look.
Mm-hmm.
Recursion is not that. Recursion is a thing where a thing can call itself.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Did you get that from GEB?
I mean, I just got that because that's what recursion means.
Okay.
But yes, also GEB talks about that. API, I don't know what those silly letters stand for.
Application Programming Interface.
Okay. So a set of instructions that specifies a computation is a program.
Sure is.
Correct. Second question. Which phase is not part of the design thinking process? Okay, fucking hell. All right. Ideate. That sounds like a buzzword way of just saying coming up with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Rationalize. That sounds like a buzzword way of saying that you're trying to take that idea and figure out how that would actually be implemented. Prototype, that's just where you're creating a proof of concept of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then empathize. There's no empathy in the tech sector.
So this is a hard one because I don't know shit about design. I am not a designer. I've heard these words. I've heard the design thinking process. I've had people talk me through it. I'll admit it's kind of gone in one ear and out the other. I feel like rationalize wasn't in there, but I don't know if that's real.
I was going to say between rationalize and empathize.
I think empathize is because it's design,
because
right? And you're trying to be
because this is design.
Yeah.
And part of design is making sure that the person who experiences it is getting in the shoes of the person experiencing it, right?
Yeah,
because that's the whole point.
User empathy.
Yeah. So I think rationalize seems like the least likely of these.
Yeah, I think that's the case too.
I want it known ideate is a stupid way of phrasing that.
Yeah. Okay, good. We got there. I'm surprised it asked me what I didn't have an answer for
Wow.
to be the
Well,
to
I mean,
be
it
the
wasn't hard to
cheat
figure
code
out.
for. That's true, but I felt
Correct.
silly.
5 phases of design thinking process are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Well, all right.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, so empathize is the first step where you're trying to where you're trying to figure out what needs your users have that you need to fulfill.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. Okay, no, I don't take back what I said about there being no empathy in the tech sector.
Though it's true.
Third question, halfway through. What is an algorithm?
Oh, hey, it's the other way around of the question we answered at the beginning.
Yeah. So an algorithm is not a programming language. An algorithm is not a collection of fonts. An algorithm is not a data type. It is a set of steps to solve a problem.
Or wait, it's not the other way around. It's just the same one.
I was going to say, it's the same question.
It's the same question.
Correct. Let's move on. Last question. A value passed to a function or method when calling the function.
Asked this one too.
Oh, yeah. Well, whoops. Looks like we tapped this one. So that's an argument.
Yep.
All right. All done. Feel like I just did a good amount of brain gymnastics. Got all questions right. Way to go. Yeah. That was a long day. Delicious home-cooked dinner as always. Anyways, I feel like I've done a lot today. Let's call it a day and get some rest. Tomorrow will be another day, right, Mint? Meow. Good night, Mint. All right, so now that we feel like we're good on general CS stuff, let's pick a particular topic and start working on that.
Yeah.
I also resent the idea that working a barista job is how you recharge.
Is it how you recharge in this?
Being a barista sucks.
Yeah.
I think being a barista is how we get new tech ideas to ask Annika about.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And taking a day off is how we recharge. Good morning, Mint. I feel like eating a big breakfast today. I guess a cookie will do. Yum, yum, yum.
I want a cookie.
Mom's homemade cookies never fail to kickstart my morning. What should we do for the day? All right, because we're doing this as a one episode thing where we're just getting our feet wet, I feel like it behooves us to do more of the study fundamentals thing, right?
Okay, sure.
Let's ramp up my CS knowledge. All right, let's start with HTML.
Yeah.
HTML, hypertext markup language, is useful for web development. Let's go with that. And this is the thing I might have some tangential knowledge of.
Yeah, you've interacted with it in both Twine.
Yep.
And in AO3, right?
Yeah, because AO3 uses that for its markup too. First question. What does the I tag stand for? Okay, so that is going to be...
Oh, I feel old because I remember I standing for italic, and it doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, it doesn't?
They changed what I mean.
Now I feel silly because this is exactly what I stands for if you use it on...
Yeah, it probably still does by default in most browsers. It probably still does, but I think they gave it a different meaning.
Okay, so inline text element, intent text element, that doesn't sound like a thing. Idiomatic text element doesn't sound like a thing. Inline table element sounds like it might be a thing.
Well, it definitely has text in it.
So it's between... I feel like inline text element is probably the most likely of these.
Yeah, let's guess that. Let's fucking guess.
That's wrong.
Son of a bitch. Idiomatic text. What does that mean?
That's fucking
What does that mean?
That's not a thing at all. Let's learn more. Am I going to have to capture the website too?
It links to a thing on italics.
It links to a page about using italics.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Because the I tag is or idiomatic text element is a span of text that represents a change in mood or quality of text. This text is displayed in italics. Well, fine. You got me. Congratulations. Are you happy with yourself? Are you happy? I'm gonna have to keep that page up so I can add that capture later, aren't I? Let's move on. Second question. What is a table tag in HTML? An element to embed sound in an HTML document. That does not sound right. An element to represent side comments. That doesn't sound right either. An element to create rows and columns of data in HTML. That sounds reasonable. An element used for a specific set of time. I think it's the one used to create rows and columns.
Sure is.
Correct. Let's move on. Third question, halfway through. How do you write a comment in HTML? I feel like it's... None of these are how I've done it before. So, if I had to guess, probably the latter, the last one.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it's that one.
Because this doesn't... X and V don't mean anything to the language. The brackets do mean something to the language, but not placed like this.
Yep.
This at least means something to the language, and so that's probably the correct one then.
It sure is.
That's correct. Last question. How do you add two non-breaking spaces in HTML? Okay.
I feel fucking stupid. I didn't know there was a fucking short code thing for this.
Let's see. Add two non-breaking spaces in HTML. I don't think it's going to be these two in the middle. They don't look like a thing. This one seems like it might be correct, but it's also very long. I'm guessing if it existed, it's probably the first one here.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. I only know NBSP and I never use it. So...
yeah, it makes sense.
Like literally never.
Well, that's correct.
This is a learning experience for both of us this fine day. Now you get to learn how shit I am at my job.
I mean, do you use these particular facets of HTML in your job?
Apparently never.
Okay, well there you go. That's correct. Okay, that's good to know. All done. I feel like I just did a good amount of brain gymnastics. But I got most questions right. At this rate, I can make it. It's a long day. Delicious home-cooked dinner as always. Feel like I've done a lot today. Let's call it a day and get some rest. Tomorrow will be another day, right, Mint? Meow. Good night, Mint.
Morning, sleepyhead.
Oh my god, your phone finally works normally. Man, you were up early. I only see you this excited on half-off pastry days at the Donut Shack.
I am a donut fiend. What can I say? But we're not up for donuts today. I told you we're going to check out the hackerspace together, remember? Ready for the ride?
Yeah, lead the way.
Here we are.
Oh, wow, this place is huge. Nice and modern.
Yeah, that's why local hackers love to hang out here. Why don't we go around and check out what people are working on?
That sounds good.
So I was reading this research paper, and it occurs to me that we might be able to implement this idea in code. The last hackathon was fun.
It was. I feel like we might be able to grow a prototype into something even better.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me what you're thinking.
Okay, here's the plan. That's what all high school boys sound like. You can't convince me otherwise. I had a college interview the other day, and it was kind of scary. He asked me to write code on the whiteboard and then eyeball test it without a compiler.
Don't worry, I'm sure you did well. I've worked in recruiting, so I'll let you in on some interviewer secrets. I hate whiteboard coding.
So if you're asking someone to whiteboard code, you can't actually be asking them. I have a feeling what you're looking for isn't necessarily the correct fidelity of their code, because the code someone writes in an environment like that isn't necessarily going to be the same as the code they would write when in a full environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're asking them to do a job without all the tools that they would have when they were doing it naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you actually looking for when you ask someone to do something like that?
Generally, the shtick is to get an idea of their high-level comp sci understanding of the algorithm that they should use for this problem and things like that. Stuff where, like, oh, you could use the same algorithm implemented in any programming language you want. We don't want to get the real nitty-gritty specifics of how this works. We just want you to write down in pseudocode, for example, not a real language, just like what a language might be that would do the steps of this algorithm, and then we can go from there. I find it anxiety-inducing.
Okay.
Also, I would say a lot of people are weirdly hard asses about it and don't just use it as this get a high-level understanding of a high-level read on your understanding of the algorithm and like will expect you to get correct syntax for a language and things like that.
That
which
seems
like,
counterproductive.
Yeah.
But who am I? I am but an outsider to this world.
What do you think about this place, Relatable?
Too many boxes.
Fair enough.
And they're not even being used to keep anything. It's amazing. This place is alive with energy. It's like you can't take a step without seeing something interesting.
That's the spirit. Do you think you'll come here now and then?
Definitely. Thanks for taking me here.
Anytime. Now, the one thing that's not realistic about this, it is realistic that, like, the furniture is random and mismatched and shit, but it's not realistic that it looks kind of, like, clean and modern inside. It should, like, look like an absolute shithole that was wherever you could find the lowest real estate value to get, like, the upstairs attic loft or whatever, and throw in a bunch of couches that you hauled in off the roadside before the trash guys came around to get them.
That sounds much more realistic, yes. Okay. Wow, I'm amazed. Hackerspace sure is a cool place. I'll have to check it out on my own someday. Let's call it a day and get some rest. The next day.
I went outside once, and now I'm out of brain power. No more executive funkies for me. Good night. Relatable, breakfast's ready.
Okay, I'm up. Yum, 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 yum. I too love jam on toast. I'm done. Gotta go get ready for the day. Have a good day at work.
You too, Relatable. See you later, honey.
All right, moving on for the most important meal of the day. What should we do for the day? Oh, hanging out at Hackerspace is probably another.
Interesting.
Yeah, again, because we're only doing this for the one episode. Let's continue studying CS fundamentals. We're gonna do HTML. First question: what is the range of values for the tab index attribute? Okay,
what the fuck?
So.
I don't fucking know this shit. Am I supposed to know this shit?
So here's the weird thing, is that I'm expecting like powers of 2 to show up in here.
Oh yeah, me too. But
not powers of 2, not powers of 2, not powers of 2. I don't know off the top of my head if that's a power of 2 or not.
Yeah, I think powers of 2 is a good guess. I think
So,
powers of 2 is a good guess. That would be my guess.
I start losing my powers of 2 past the 3 or 4 digits off the top of my head here. So I'm going to guess, because this isn't.
Yeah.
Because what, 512 is the nearest? This isn't. Unless, what is that total? That is 40. Okay, that's not.
That sure isn't.
That sure isn't, and that's also total of 3. Okay, yeah. So I'm guessing this last one. That's correct. I don't know if that was a power of 2 or not. But
So, I'm pretty sure it is. That's gotta be
or rather, it's probably 1 off from a power of 2.
Yeah, it's 1 off from 2 to the 15th.
Yeah, okay.
So, the thing that was fucking me up with that is that tab index -1 is a thing. I do use tab index -1 for stuff. What tab index does is determine the order that you tab through when you are interacting with a website with a keyboard. So, for example, if you are trying to build an accessible website that people who, for example, can't use a mouse and rely on keyboard-only controls, or who rely on things like text-to-speech for blind users, then you need to manage the order that you can tab through stuff.
That's literally tab index is just the order that it'll tab through the elements in.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay. A trick that I commonly use when you have things that you need to not be tabbed to, when you have things that should be skipped, then giving them a tab index of -1 allows that to happen.
Well, maybe that's why that works, because it's a value that you're giving it a value that's not within the range it expects, so it'll never go to it.
Perhaps so. I legit don't know the answer to that. My brain is being stretched today as we speak.
All right.
It definitely accepts -1. I did that like 3 days ago.
Second question.
We already did this one.
Idiomatic. All right. You can't mess with me on this one.
The I tag stands for...
It stands for italics.
The I tag stands for idiotic text element because it should be italic and they didn't make it italic.
Third question, halfway through. Which HTML element contains the select tag? Okay, hold on. An anchor tag, a form tag, an image tag, and a footer tag. A select tag? I don't know what that is. What could that be? A tag that needs to select something. Okay,
yeah.
So... whatever these tags are, we're going to look for one that needs to select a thing. An image tag is just a tag around an image thing. That's reasonable enough. Probably not that.
Would you like to see a select tag?
Is it going to give away the answer to this question?
It won't. But here's what one is. It's one of those little drop-down thingies.
Oh, it's a drop-down menu.
Yeah. It's the basic element for a drop-down menu that you use to select an option out of multiple options. That's what one of those is.
In that case, it's probably a form tag.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's correct. What is it with tech people and not naming things that make sense? Just say a drop-down menu.
I think a lot of it is that what makes sense changes, but what a thing is named, it's hard to change without breaking everybody's websites.
That's valid. So it's just kind of like the pile up of this is how it's been for so long, and so much is built on that.
Yep.
Okay. Last question. What does the title attribute do in the image tag? Creates a title above the image tag, creates a title below the image tag, creates a title left of the image, private additional. Is this what we use for alt text? So it provides additional information?
I think it's similar. It's not exactly alt text because the alt text is actually an attribute of its own called alt. But
okay.
I believe you're right that it's something similar to that. I believe it gives it specifically a title that is additional info.
Right. So it's not something that's displayed.
Yeah.
It is just an attribute that the image has.
Yeah. Watch me be wrong on that. I should know this. Okay. Good.
That's correct.
Good. Yeah. So for example, you might want to say, you're building a website for the Museum of Modern Art, and you need it to be accessible. And for each painting, you have the alt text that describes the painting, but you also want the title that describes which painting is it. What's the title of the painting? So there's a title attribute, and then
because you might want to
to
reference that by title somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, gotcha. Let's move on. All done. It's a lot of new information to digest. I got all the questions right. Way to go. That was a long day. Delicious home-cooked dinner as always. Okay, that's also unrealistic. No one has the energy to cook every night. Let's call it a day and get some rest. Tomorrow will be another day, right, Mint? Meow.
Yawn.
Good night, Mint.
Loving these royalty-free jams.
Oh, yeah. A new day. Good morning, Mint. I feel like eating a big breakfast today. I guess a cookie will do. Nom 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 nom. Mom's homemade cookies never fail to kickstart my morning. What should we do for the day? All right, one more day of study. Let's hit the books.
Whack.
Ow! First question. What is the name of the HTML element that creates an area inside an image map?
What the fuck does that mean?
Okay, so let's try to parse this out. The name of an HTML element, okay, that creates an area inside of an image map. So an image map isn't an image, it's something other than an image. So it's something that presumably creates a space for an image to go. Maybe? That's kind of what I would guess that means.
Oh.
So it creates an area inside of it.
You know how on some, you know how there are some old websites where the menu was just a JPEG, but if you clicked at different parts inside the JPEG, it would take you to different links?
Oh.
I think it's something like that.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. This is another one that I've never used in my life.
So it's demarcating an area within an image.
Yeah, I believe that's what this is.
Okay. So it's not the image tag, because that's just for the image itself. Area, that feels like bait. B-link, or blink. B-link, that could be it. BDO. I don't have any reason to assume that would be it. I'd guess between area and B-link.
So that is blink.
That is just blink.
And it's the blink tag that makes things blink.
Okay, so that's not it.
Yeah.
It's probably just area then.
I'm betting area 2. Woo!
Woo, that's correct. I'm in your area now.
God, I feel like such a scrub doing this. It makes it really clear that I don't actually know HTML as well as I maybe should, because I just use JavaScript as the ultimate crutch, and it's just like, oh, do I know the specific correct way that's browser native to do this? No, but I sure can write a big steaming pile of JavaScript that'll do it for me, and that's what I'll do. So,
hey, it works for you. Second question. What's the block quote tag in HTML? Okay, so this one, a block of text that represents a quote, generic block container to hold other elements, generic inline element, a caption for a figure element. So, a block of text that represents a quote, I think that's where it gets its name, but I think it's a generic inline element.
Would you like to know what inline means in this context?
In this context, yeah, because I'm thinking it means like it's tabbed over.
So, what inline means, there are some things that occur not inline, not in the same flow of text in the document, and some things that occur, yes, inline. So a thing that is not inline would be, for example, if you look at a website here, you can see there's a menu over here, and then there's main text over here. That menu isn't inline. It's a bunch of separate elements all kind of doing their own thing. Something that is inline is, say, this link. There's links here. Those are right inside the text. Right in line with it.
And what about these little blocky things that kind of exclave some text?
That might well be quite relevant to this question, huh?
Okay. Because are those inline or not?
Well, they don't quite look inline. Like these things here, you can see these little code blocks. Those are in line with the text, right inside a line of text. These links are right inside a line of text, but this seems different. It seems like it's kind of pulled out on its own, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'm guessing a caption for a figure element. So it's not an inline element then.
Mm-hmm.
A caption for a figure element. I don't know what a figure element is, so I'm going to ignore that.
A figure would be like a graph or something.
Oh, okay. So that's probably not a generic block container to hold other elements. A block of text that represents a quote. The thing is, I don't think it has to represent a quote. I think that's probably where it started, but it's probably not that's probably not what it used for solely anymore.
What if it is? What if there was a renaissance of what's called semantic elements? The idea that there should be HTML elements that have no special behavior on their own, but that just specifically represent one type of thing. So maybe there's an element for, say, an aside that represents specifically, a textual remark that is separate from the main content, and it has no specific behavior.
Okay.
It just means an aside. Or maybe there's a fig caption, a specific thing that means, this is a caption for a figure element, but is not any specific behavior. It's just some text.
So if that's the philosophy behind it, then I'm tempted to go with a block of text that represents a quote.
Let's click it and see.
That's correct. That's a lot of effort to go to get to the obvious answer.
So one of the things that is nice about the direction HTML has gone is that a lot of it has gone in that direction now, where things should be named what they are and are there just to clarify what is the meaning of this thing. Do I want to make a block quote? I should use the block quote element. Do I want to put a little aside in there? I should use the aside element. And
okay. So my pessimistic view of how things would be named turned against me here.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like older versus newer stuff, I think, because things like I and B for bold and italic, those changed completely and are now in no way representative of what their names do. But some newer, more specific stuff like block quotes and so on, that's actually got a clear name that does what it says on the tin.
Well, all right then. Third question, halfway through. What is a hyperlink? A piece of computer hardware? No. An executable programming script? Possibly. A website? No. It's more often a link to the website.
Mm-hmm.
A web reference to data. Ooh, okay. So a hyperlink, I don't think is an executable programming script, even though they can be used to call up a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think hyperlink is more like a web reference.
Yeah.
Because they often get used to either send you to a different website or do some other function that usually has to call on some external factor in order to get it to work.
Yep.
So I think we're going to go with web reference to data.
Yep.
That's
exactly
correct.
That.
A hyperlink, also called a link or web link, contains an address for a destination and acts as a reference to data. A user can easily follow, jump to, and be directed to the destination by either clicking, tapping on, or hovering over the link. All right. Last question.
We just got this one, didn't we?
No, this is a different question.
Okay, it's a different question, but it's about block quote. Yeah, it's just asking about block quote again.
What it's asking the block quote tag. And now we're looking about the block quote element, not the tag, the element.
A tag is element.
The block quote element in HTML. A tag used to number quotes, a tag used to style quotes, a tag used to turn quotes into links, a tag used to quote text from another source. I believe it's a tag used to style quotes.
I think that's the correct thing to click too.
Yes. That's wrong.
Specifically from another source, huh?
Okay.
Wow. Well,
All done,
you
though.
learn something new every day.
It's a lot of new information to digest. But I got most of my questions right. At this rate, I can make it. Look at that. 100% knowledge of HTML. We are at HTML Maven right now.
Yeah. Now you know all there is to know.
Literally
Aren't you surprised?
perfect.
Aren't
Yeah.
you surprised? That's all there is.
I'm as impressed as anyone else is. And I think that's where we'll call it with this game for today.
All right.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I learned
A small amount.
a small amount. But I mean, the game is very. This is a cute way of doing it, like a cute way of kind of keeping you accountable for your own learning, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you just sit down, play the game, and then you learn how to code.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a structure to help you in your independent study, which I feel is a very useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever someone says like, "Oh yeah, I just did it over a couple months of independent study," my fucking brain freezes up because I'm like, if I don't have someone telling me where to go and like what to do in order to structure this, it's just gonna be you're just throwing someone in an ocean and expecting them to learn how to swim.
And I, on the other hand, had the opposite reaction and was like, if I have someone telling me what I have to do with this all the time, then fuck. I don't want that.
Well, I mean, I think there's a difference between the extremes here, between someone telling you what to do and someone giving you like, here's where you start with this, right? Because I don't know, if someone just told me like, yeah, you've got 6 months to go figure it out, I don't know. Anyway, what a delightful little game. Is it everything you hoped it would be?
It's what I thought it might be.
All right.
I feel glad that we screwed around with it, saw what it was. It's neat that such a thing exists, that there's a cute little thing to encourage you to learn if that's what you would like to do.
Yeah.
And yeah. I imagine maybe it's useful for folks that don't have an experienced friend like Annika that can direct them to the right resources and be like, hey, here's some terminology you should know.
Or have a wife that just knows all this stuff already.
Apparently I don't. Apparently I only had like a 75% success rate there. So that puts me at a solid like C+ developer.
Wow.
Which, yeah, fair.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next month, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.